It's late December 1980, and an unsettling stillness envelops the dense pine groves of Rendlesham Forest in Suffolk, England. Under a cold winter sky, U.S. Air Force security officers patrolling near RAF Woodbridge and RAF Bentwaters catch sight of inexplicable lights piercing the darkness. This is the account you've heard whispered about, sometimes called Britain's Roswell. What begins as a routine check of potential trespassers soon spirals into one of the most debated UFO incidents in military history. Witnesses speak of a strange metallic object on the forest floor, radiating colored lights and etched with symbols no one can explain. Some claim they touched its warm surface. Others recall being overwhelmed by a sense of unreality that would follow them for years. Even more intriguing are the contradicting testimonies and the alleged binary code transmissions said to contain mysterious coordinates. Official channels offer dismissals and shifting stories, fueling theories of a larger cover-up. For the men and women caught in that night's glare, the experience would leave them questioning their own memories and the limits of what they knew about our skies. Now, to uncover the truth behind these veiled lights, we must return to the very moment the forest fell silent, and the unknown arrived. Strategic Secrets. December 1980 marked a tense chapter in global affairs. The Cold War hovered over nations like a silent threat, and nowhere was this more apparent than at the twin U.S. Air Force installations, RAF Woodbridge and RAF Bentwaters in Suffolk, England. Officially, these bases existed to strengthen NATO's defensive posture, yet locals whispered about something more. Rumors of nuclear weapons and clandestine operations hidden under layers of military secrecy. Even so, to the everyday residents of Suffolk, life carried on in its usual, unhurried rhythm. Fields of green stretched toward the horizon, dotted with ancient stone churches and rustic cottages. Outside the occasional roar of military jets, the county was quiet, an unassuming patch of English countryside where families found comfort in routine. But perched between the two bases lay Rendlesham Forest, a dense woodland of tall pines that formed a natural boundary and provided a tranquil escape for servicemen and locals alike. Strolls through its soft, pine-covered paths were common, offering respite from the constant state of readiness on the bases. Few ever envisioned these silent woods would soon ignite decades of debate about unidentified lights and possible extraterrestrial encounters. At the heart of this unfolding story were several key figures. Jim Penniston, a disciplined and methodical staff sergeant, prided himself on his keen observation skills and strict adherence to protocol. His patrol partner, John Burroughs, was known for being straightforward, a quality that made him a reliable witness in any incident. Then there was Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt, the deputy base commander, a man of precise words and measured actions. All three possessed years of military training, drilled to remain calm under pressure and to report events with exacting detail. As the holiday season approached, these men had no reason to suspect anything unusual. Day after day, they followed standard security procedures, double-checking perimeter fences and monitoring the night skies for potential threats. A typical routine in an era of global mistrust. Yet whispers among the ranks hinted that something was amiss. Strange lights had been glimpsed through the trees, unnerving some and intriguing others. Soon enough, these mere whispers would evolve into an incident that not only challenged the rational minds of trained military personnel, but also forever changed the reputation of Rendlesham Forest. The eerie glow. On that particular night, the hours before dawn were unremarkable at RAF Woodbridge. Routine patrols, quiet corridors, and the distant hum of aircraft maintenance. Staff Sergeant Jim Penniston, known for his meticulous eye, was wrapping up his shift alongside Airman First Class John Burroughs, a straightforward and by-the-book colleague. Both men anticipated another uneventful night, lulled by the gentle rustle of pines in adjacent Rendlesham Forest. Yet in mere moments, their world would tilt into the extraordinary. Shortly after 3 a.m., they received a security report of unusual lights flickering through the treetops, initially suspected to be a possible downed aircraft. Peniston and Burrows made their way into the forest, flashlights in hand, adrenaline surging. As they navigated deeper into the thick pines, a strange hush fell over the woods, amplifying every crunch of leaves and snap of twigs beneath their boots. The air felt different, charged, as though static electricity was dancing just beyond sight. They soon caught glimpses of radiant colors, brilliant whites, flashing blues, and an amber glow pulsing in a deliberate rhythm. Burrows would later recall, "It felt like the entire forest was alive, breathing light." Peniston, fighting to steady his nerves, described a rising sense of unreality. He'd seen aircraft navigation lights before, but this was no ordinary signature, more like a beacon, shifting and hovering in near silence. Drawn closer by this display, they finally reached a small clearing. There, resting on the forest floor, was a craft unlike anything they had trained to encounter. Roughly triangular in shape, no more than a few meters across. It had a smooth, glossy surface bathed in an otherworldly glow. Soft beams of light played along its edges, outlining strange symbols that Peniston would later liken to hieroglyphs. Heart-hammering, he ventured forward, convinced this was a structured machine but unsure of its origin. He extended a trembling hand, feeling warmth radiate from its smooth metal. Burrows stood nearby, struggling to comprehend what he was witnessing. He would admit to moments of lost time, a disorienting fog that clouded precise recall. "It was like my mind couldn't process it," he said. Suddenly, a flash, bright and silent, illuminated the clearing. Just as quickly, the craft lifted off the ground, maneuvering effortlessly between the tall pines, before vanishing in a streak of light that left their vision swimming with afterimages. Reeling from the event, Peniston and Burrows found themselves in a state of shock. They exchanged few words beyond confirming what each had seen. Peniston scribbled notes and sketches, trying to capture every detail before memory could fade. Returning to the base, the men were visibly shaken, recounting their sighting to superiors who, at first, struggled to believe such a report. The standard protocol for aircraft incidents fell woefully short of this bizarre encounter. Unbeknownst to them, this was only the beginning. In the coming days, others would witness further phenomena in Rendlesham Forest, and the official stance on what truly transpired would grow increasingly elusive. For Peniston and Burrows, however, the night's events were more than an odd patrol shift. They were a personal upheaval, defying the rational expectations of military training. Little could they know that their harrowing account would soon ignite debates reaching far beyond the forest's darkened edges. Beyond the beams. In the days following the unsettling encounter in Rendlesham Forest, word spread swiftly among both base personnel and curious locals. At first, the U.S. Air Force treated the incident as if it were a simple anomaly, perhaps a stray aircraft or a misidentified natural light. But rumors of a genuine UFO sighting circulated in nearby pubs and among off-duty servicemen, prompting media outlets to send reporters in search of answers. Although the story briefly surfaced in local newspapers, official channels appeared to brush it off, providing only terse statements that there was no threat to national security. Behind the scenes, however, some investigators were intrigued by the physical evidence. Military teams reportedly found 3 depressions in the ground at the alleged landing site, each spaced as if from a tripod support, alongside noticeable scorch marks on nearby tree bark. Radiation readings taken around the area were said to be higher than normal, though not dangerously so. Skeptics argued the measurements were inconclusive, possibly the result of background fluctuations. For those who believed something extraordinary had landed, the impressions and elevated readings offered tantalizing proof. Others saw them as red herrings or natural occurrences in a dense woodland. Meanwhile, the key witnesses, Jim Peniston and John Burrows, faced scrutiny over their recollections. Peniston famously sketched the symbols he claimed were etched into the object's surface, and later asserted that touching the craft triggered a flow of mysterious binary code. Burroughs, on the other hand, struggled to piece together certain moments, reporting gaps in his memory that only deepened the intrigue. The differences in their accounts sparked debates about whether stress and fear could have clouded their perceptions, or if something far stranger was at play. Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt added an extra layer of complexity. Upon leading a second investigation into the forest with a recording device, Halt captured frantic commentary about unusual lights, some splitting into multiple objects. His memo to British authorities, later declassified, mentioned unexplained lights, but was met with a lukewarm response. The Ministry of Defense concluded the incident posed no defense significance. Halt's continued insistence that something beyond comprehension occurred clashed with the official stance that the case was closed. As for theories, they ran the gamut. Some maintained it was an extraterrestrial craft, possibly drawn to the region's military presence. Others suggested a secret government test of advanced technology, with the forest providing a convenient, secluded environment. One popular skeptical view pointed to the Orford Ness Lighthouse. Its rotating beacon could have been mistaken for a UFO by startled, fatigued personnel. Additional skeptics cited the possibility of meteorological phenomena or even an orchestrated hoax. UFO researchers, however, insisted the multiple nights of activity and credible witnesses went well beyond the realm of misidentified lights. Experts from various fields weighed in with divergent opinions. While ufologists championed Peniston's sketches and Halt's recording as vital evidence, some scientists and psychologists proposed that heightened anxiety during a tense geopolitical era might have fueled imaginative interpretations. In the end, no single explanation satisfied everyone. The scorch marks didn't conclusively prove an extraterrestrial presence, nor did the lighthouse argument account for the reported radiation spikes or the strange symbols Peniston claimed to have observed. Caught between official denials, conflicting testimony, and tantalizing clues, the Rendlesham Forest incident remains stubbornly unresolved. Each new piece of information seems to answer one question while raising another, leaving the forest's mysterious events suspended in a realm where solid proof and speculation continue to collide. Shifting lights. In the end, what truly happened in Rendlesham Forest remains as elusive as the lights themselves. Despite official memos, eyewitness testimony from trained military personnel, and tantalizing physical traces, no conclusive explanation was ever offered. Those who ventured into the woods that night stood firm in their recollections, insisting they encountered something beyond mere misidentification or trickery. Critics, however, continue to point to mundane causes like distant lighthouses or unusual atmospheric conditions, leaving the incident cloaked in debate. For the witnesses, the impact lingers. Some speak of unresolved questions and the subtle but persistent sense that ordinary reality was briefly, inexplicably suspended. Others are convinced they witnessed an advanced technology, whether human or otherwise, operating under a veil of secrecy. Even decades later, the subject sparks fresh theories, fueling countless discussions, documentaries, and investigations by UFO enthusiasts and skeptics alike. Could the Rendlesham event have been a clandestine military test, or a genuine brush with the unknown? Or is the simplest explanation hidden among the confusion and conflicting memories? The answers, if any, remain as tangled as the forest's undergrowth. Each whisper of a new sighting or rumored cover-up only adds to the enduring mystique. Ultimately, the Rendlesham Forest UFO incident stands as a testament to humanity's insatiable curiosity, and a reminder that some questions may never be laid fully to rest. Was the Rendlesham Forest UFO incident a genuine encounter with something truly unexplained? Or is there a more mundane explanation hidden behind conflicting accounts? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching Mr. Alien Files. If you enjoyed this ufology mystery, continue exploring the unexplained in our next video. Let's keep pushing the boundaries of what we know and what we dare to believe.